What's going on, everybody? Simply Bimply here, and today I'm going to be going through my top 10 games that I played and beat for the first time in 2025. Just for clarification, a game doesn't need to have been released this year to be on this list, I just needed to have played it for the first time this year. And just for a reminder, this is a sequel to a video I made last year on my top 5 games of 2024, so if you want to see that, it'll be popping up in the card right now. But without further ado, let's get into the Bimply top 10 games of 2025 list. And to start off the list at the number 10 spot, we have an indie title that I'm sure you guys know, Schedule 1, which is a drug dealing simulator where you build your way up from homeless fent dealer to Walter White level meth distribution. With a fairly deep and enjoyable gameplay loop with tons of new strains to discover, new drugs to grow and sell, new properties to buy to have more space, and new businesses to launder your money, cars to buy, and a whole bunch more. And this game is constantly getting updated and having new things introduced to the game. And the game is only made by one person, so it just goes to show the amount of love and care put into this game. And coming in at the number 9 spot, we have American Truck Simulator. I know this seems like a bit of a weird pick for this list, but you will truly never understand the peace and coziness you experience when playing truck sim, raining, and cruising at nighttime while you watch a YouTube video or a show on your other monitor. Then you get why so many people play this game where, for the most part, all you do is just drive forward. Not to mention it's pretty much the best way to go on a road trip with your friend in a game, except for driving in one giant circle across the whole map in GTA Online. Sure, your friend isn't in the passenger seat and is driving their own truck, but to be fair, it would get pretty boring if one person got to drive and the other just has to sit there looking around the whole drive. But yeah, seems like a boring game, but if you enjoy cozy games, I'd definitely recommend this. And at the number 8 spot, we have Pacific Drive, another game made by a pretty small team. I'm pretty sure the dev team only has around 20 devs, and you might think that in turn that means this game isn't going to have the same amount of depth as something made by a bigger studio, and I thought the same thing at first, but I could not have been more wrong. Pacific Drive is a game where you're thrown into a radioactive wasteland, essentially, with an enthralling amount of different anomalies, all with their own unique design and way of affecting the player. And to maneuver around this wasteland is your car, which can get given tons and tons of different upgrades and cosmetic options to customize the car to not only your liking in terms of looks, but also defense, storage, and extra gas and battery life, along with tons of other options. And to get these upgrades, you'll need to go out into the wasteland to get supplies and resources to keep you and your car upgraded, as well as to uncover the mystery behind the story. And this game has some of the best atmosphere and sound design I've ever seen in a game before. The amount of times playing this game that I've just parked my car in the garage and listened to the game's ambiance while sitting there in the safety of my car, it gives off the same eerily comforting feeling as sitting in a safe room in a Resident Evil game almost. Next up, for the number 7 spot, we have Batman Arkham Origins. Now, it may seem very surprising that I played this game for the first time this year, but after seeing some of the other games on this list, you'll come to realize that I am late to the party on everything. I mean, just look at my upload schedule. When it comes to the Arkham games, I ended up playing Arkham City for the first time years ago when I was a wee boy pissing in diapers and committing mass genocide in a COD campaign, and continued to play and be a huge fan of the rest of the series as time went on. But one game I just never got the chance to play was Arkham Origins, until it went on sale on Steam and I decided it was finally time to change that. And boy was it something. Now, I don't think it's the best game in the series like some people think. Arkham Knight will always be that for me, but that doesn't mean this game is bad by any definition. Everything from the combat to the atmosphere to the story to the character design, all of it is done so well, especially compared to the last entry in the Arkhamverse, which is technically not canon, or was just cloned, so it might as well have not been canon. I don't know, the game was shit, so it might as well just not be canon in the first place or exist. A lot of people hated on this game when it came out due to a couple of different things. First off, the most obvious one, the game came out after Arkham City and was supposed to be the bridge in between City and Night, so after the masterpiece that was Arkham City, it was going to be genuinely impossible to follow up on that amazing game. And the fact that it came with a pretty shoddy PC port didn't help. I mean, to be fair, Arkham Knight's PC port was definitely worse, but people were just looking for anything to hate on this game for when it released. But now, years later, a lot of people have came back and found what this game really holds up as, and I'm glad that people see that. And the next game for the number 6 spot is Battlefront 2. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the huge resurgence of this game recently, with it reaching a new all-time peak of 35,000 players, and I'm one of them. I've never really been a die-hard Star Wars fan, except for when I was a very young kid and used to play the LEGO Star Wars games. And I mean, what kid didn't grow up without loving swinging lightsabers around and whatnot? But as I got older, I kind of fell out of my love for Star Wars, and after all these people started rallying for Battlefront 3 and going back to Battlefront 2, in the PlayStation Store to buy it and was lucky to get it for only $5. Until I realized my EA account linked to my PSN is one that's deactivated and is connected to an email that I don't even have access to anymore. So I couldn't even access the online feature being the biggest part of the game. So after ranting on Twitter for a couple days, I seen that Battlefront 2 was on sale on Steam for only $4 this time, so I decided to bite the bullet and buy it a second time. And I do not regret it whatsoever. Battlefront 2 is without a doubt some of the most fun I've had in a multiplayer game, not only in recent years, but maybe in my whole entire life. And in recent years, I haven't really even been enjoying multiplayer games, but this game has something special to it that keeps me coming back every day. Just talking about this right now is making me want to go back and play the game, and chances are I will when I'm done recording this. But yeah, I think this game has a little something for everyone, especially if you have any interest in Star Wars at all, and even if you don't, I'd still recommend it because it is just that good of a game. And to start off our top 5, we have, funnily enough, another Star Wars title. Jedi Survivor. As I said earlier, since there was a huge resurgence of Star Wars media, I figured why only play one Star Wars game, and started playing Jedi Survivor, which I had been very excited to do as someone who loved Jedi Fallen Order in every way except for that annoying-ass Trilla fight at the end. And Jedi Survivor improves upon and adds so many new mechanics compared to Jedi Fallen Order. There's new attacks, new skills, new stances, new customization options for you, your weapons, and BD1, as well as all the stuff that was good about Fallen Order either improved or left the way that it was. And a story that is miles better than the first with the feeling of actual stakes and twists and turns. I think this game is an amazing sequel in every way, and I hate that this game's reputation will always be stained by the disastrous launch it had on PC, but thankfully, years later, people are starting to forget or move past that and give the game a chance, which they definitely should. And next up, at the number 4 spot, we have a classic. Devil May Cry 3. Now, if you've ever gone through the horror of sitting through a 5-minute conversation with me, you know that I am in love with everything Devil May Cry. And yes, I am someone who got into the series recently when I bought DMC5 in 2024. So go ahead with all your new gen jokes, I could already hear them being typed away in the comments. And for anyone wondering why I bought the 5th game in the series first, I just saw cool combos and didn't really care about the story until I ended up playing the game and realizing how good the story was. But anyway, back to DMC3. I ended up playing it pretty early in the year, and I remember beating the game in like 2 days because I just played it non-stop. Atmosphere, got it. Great characters with insane amounts of depth, got it. Atmosphere, got it. Great combat with insane amounts of depth, got it. A great story and characters to match, got it. A kick-ass soundtrack that feels like chewing 5 gum, have they got it in spades. I could go on about how great DMC is until the heat death of the universe, but all you need to know is that Devil May Cry 3 is one of the best games ever created and still holds up better than games releasing today. And to start off the top 3, we have technically 2 games, but I like to think of them as one. We have God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. I know it might seem weird to put both of these in the same spot, but they both tell a great story that carries over pretty much right after the other one. And maybe it's because I literally went from watching the credits of God of War 2018 right into starting Ragnarok, but I like to look at both of these games as one big game in a sense. But as someone who grew up in the mid to late 2000s, I've seen my fair share of Kratos growing up, but never really played the games until this year when playing God of War 2018. And I was so amazed by the way the story was told. I am a sucker for the caretaker role in games, but the way it's done here is so well it rivals games that are considered to do it the best. The feeling of being able to understand the frustration and sadness of both Kratos and Atreus is done like no other. And with a fun combat system and beautiful looking world to complement its story, God of War 2018 ends up being one of the best stories I've ever experienced. And in terms of Ragnarok, it's even better in certain aspects, but also tends to fall off in others. But instead of going through the story of Ragnarok, I'll just say that the dynamic between Thor and Odin is like watching a family therapy meeting from the eyes of a fly on the wall. In a good way, I mean. And at the number 2 spot, we have one of my new favorite games ever made, Left 4 Dead 2. As I said earlier, I tend to be late to the party when it comes to great video games, but I don't think there is a game where I regret it more than Left 4 Dead 2. I hate that it took me this long and I went years missing out on this amazing game. Whether I'm playing by myself or with friends, game made campaign or community campaign, throwing Molotovs on my teammates or actually helping them up, no matter what the case is, I'm always having fun on this game. And I know I keep saying this word, but the sheer amount of depth to this game has when it comes to its teamwork and enemy AI is incredible. It's to the point where you could play the same campaign 5 times and no run will be the same as the last one. No matter what, there will always be something that keeps you on your toes and keeps the game feeling fresh. And if you don't believe me, look at the Steam charts for this game. A 16-year-old game still averages around 25 to 30k players daily. Just for reference, there are brand new AAA titles with billions of dollars in budgets with less players on release day, and Left 4 2 does it more consistently and better almost 2 decades later. I genuinely could not recommend a game to play with your friends more than this, especially if you're a fan of Valve games, FPS titles, or zombies. And for our honorable mention slot, we have web fishing. Kinda in a similar boat to Truck Sim, where I just love to put on this game, set up my picnic table and my campfire, and watch a movie or a YouTube video while I just relax and fish. It has the same sense of comfort and relaxation I've only felt in Minecraft, and just that alone makes me love this game. And this game has such a fun community. You could join any lobby and find chill people to talk to and fish with, so if you are an ancient creature and remember chat rooms and want to experience them again in a new light, I definitely recommend this game. And for the final pick, the #1 spot for the best games of 2025, we have Cyberpunk 2077. What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? The story, the soundtrack, the fluid and insanely fun gameplay and combat, the beautiful open world, the fact that Keanu fucking Reeves is in your head, the fact that Panam Palmer is a character that exists in this game, the basilisk scene. I mean, what more reason do you really need to play this game? Yes, the game had a bad launch. That's what happens when a game as ambitious as this is held by deadlines. But after being fixed to a playable state, you realize why this game had so much hype and why so many people are in love with it. This game had me destroying my sleep schedule, staying up until 5 a.m. just to keep playing this game until my eyes were bloodshot, just because I genuinely did not want to stop playing. And not to mention, the game when modded brings it to a whole nother level. I never played the game modded, but I've seen some of the clips of modded gameplay, and it really makes me want mod support on console because it would help the game out so much in terms of replayability. But nonetheless, I mean it when I say you should play this game. Do not listen to people complaining about bugs and glitches from 5 years ago. Just get the game and play it, and you will not regret a second of it. And if you want some tips for your build, go Sandevistan knife throwing build. It is the most fun build in the game. And that wraps it up for the Bimply top 5 games of 2025. I like to do these videos kinda as a celebration every year, and this year is 2 years on YouTube now, so I thought I'd do a top 10 instead of a top 5 like last year. And I'd just like to say thank you to anyone who has stuck around over these past 2 years, or anybody who's interacted with my channel in general. I mean it when I say I appreciate it so much. I'm also working on a best moment / rage Taj compilations from all my videos, and that should hopefully be up soon, but no promises. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and yeah, bye!